driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, today I'm interested in talking about the homeless. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it sounds great. It's run
Sounds
rampant
like
in
a
this state,
great topic.
or
Yeah,
more so
yeah.
in Seattle.
All right, yeah. So go ahead. You can start me off by telling me, since you got way more exposure to it than I do here in my small town in Alaska. Why don't you tell me what you've experienced in your area as far as homeless is concerned?
Outside of Seattle city limits, it has pockets and it's not bad. Like the last place I lived, it's like once you see one, you're like, he's not sticking around. And in fact, I think they usually get ran out. It's little smaller, nicer cities. Where I'm at now, I don't think I've really seen much, minus some panhandlers. But every day I go to the city, Seattle, it's a train wreck in most places. Like most places of Seattle are just rampant with homeless. I mean, right outside my office, in a nice park, there's like 2 tents full of trash. But what really gets me is that 2 years ago, last year, Seattle hosted the Major League Baseball All-Star game. What do? They clean up the homeless so perfectly. Nobody
I
to
knew that was
find, and
coming.
because it's always around the stadiums too. It's really, really bad. So what's going to happen here soon is we're going to host the World Cup. All our homeless are going to disappear again for a couple weeks, and then it's going to be right back to where it was.
It's like when the president comes to town. They clean it all up and make
Mhm.
it look all prettified, which I guess kind of makes sense in a sense because you can house them or whatever for a short period of time. It's the extended period of time that it becomes difficult to manage. Because I really
If the
only see
president
two.
comes to town, he should be able to see what it's like. But of course,
They hide it, so
California
that's
did
what
the same
pisses you
thing.
off is
Yep.
they hide it.
Yeah. They hide it. And I
Yeah, I
guess it
agree.
is. It's like, it's funny because the people that get to go to the All-Star games and go to um, the soccer tournament, it's like, they're people with a lot of money. And that's who they really care about not seeing it. Because I go to baseball games several times a year, go to a soccer
Just
game
normie
like
baseball
once a
game
year.
or
Yep.
whatever.
And,
Yeah.
and it's awful. Dude, I was in QFC, which is QFC is a Kroger thing. So it's like Fred Meyer, but not the department store yesterday. And there's this guy as I pull in, like clearly homeless, but his pants down to his knees, and he's looking under cars, and then he starts running like a freaking raptor, and I'm like,
Like,
what the hell
like
is
an
going
animal.
on? And I'm walking into the store, and I see a lady and a security guard, and they're just cracking up. Like they're just laughing
Yeah.
at this guy. But
What else can you
everywhere I go there's some crazy homeless person. They're almost always at some sort of tweaker.
Yeah. So, but what I really hear from you, I hear from you a frustration with the homeless, which we can talk about, like the homeless themselves. But it sounds like the bigger frustration is the way it's managed, the way it's hidden from the rich people, but the way that you, as a common person, are basically like left to deal with the problem, or there's no consideration for you. You may as well be
Or
homeless
honestly,
yourself.
there's no consideration for the homeless. Like we're
Yeah, you and the
yeah,
homeless are
yeah,
basically the same. So
yeah,
the
yeah,
real
exactly, yeah.
separation is between the really wealthy people, and they'll make exceptions for the really wealthy people, but us
Mhm.
common people, basically, we're amongst the squalor and so. But yeah, I think
It's a tax issue too.
the biggest problem with the hiding of it, your point makes me think of the issue being when they hide it, it becomes easier to defend, right? It becomes easier to pretend like it's not an issue. That's what they're trying to do. It's like, oh, it's not a big deal, you know, keep it from the eyes of the people who might do something about it. And then when the cameras are there and stuff, it's all gone. And then but then that gives the the people who would defend the homeless the opportunity to then be like, "What? It's not as big of a deal as you're making it out to be." It's like, well, you're there
Exactly.
every day and you walk through it and you see it. So
Yeah.
it's the deception. Yeah, I think that's a big problem.
My office window looks out one of the more dangerous, uh, roads or avenues in Seattle, and it's by a bus station, so the amount of people I see walking past just tweaking out too and yelling, doing random stuff. Sometimes it's funny, but you also kind of feel bad. But it doesn't make you feel safe or secure. Like I don't definitely don't feel safe when I go into Seattle. I have ways of trying to make myself feel safer.
It's funny because we've uh kind of pulled back our emotions from it,
Yeah,
because
it's
what are you going to do?
yeah, well, you kinda come numb to it,
Yeah, that's
because you
it.
see yeah, because there's not really much you and I can actually do. We pay our taxes, and we'd assume that, the people in control of our taxes would try to help the situation, but you can't help panhandlers because, 1, it's dangerous, they shouldn't be in the roads, but 2, it's not like they're gonna use that money for anything good.
Yeah. The humor of it seems to come from a lack of like viable solutions. There's no options or alternatives. So then our alternatives, since we're helpless, are effectively, I feel really bad about this and it ruins my day, or I see the absurdity in the behavior and I kind of just laugh at it because, like, what are we
Yeah.
gonna do?
But you
I
can
mean,
only
and they're
laugh at it.
resilient.
It's like being at this is not how I mean it to sound. It's like being at a zoo. You can find things humorous on the other side of the wall because you're kinda safe and protected, but
Right, in
you're
your
out
in
there,
your,
then you're like,
like,
"Oh,
upper
shit."
floor of your building looking down is kinda
Yes,
funny.
exactly. Yeah. But once you're
Yeah.
down there, you're like, "This guy's gonna freaking do something."
Yeah, 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 and there used to be a certain, homeless people didn't used to be the way they are now. It's a lot of it's these, like, hardcore drugs that got them all, like, jacked
Yeah.
up and acting real crazy,
Mhm.
you know? Um,
Sad because it's like it's easier for them to get that stuff than it is sometimes food and
yeah.
shelter, so what do you expect them to do?
Well, and they want it more because it's super addictive.
Right.
Like,
Well,
once
so
you get
yeah,
hooked on
a
something.
shitty life, and
Yeah.
they can't use whatever little bit of money they have to help themselves because really, what are you gonna do? It's not like you can, "Oh, I got $5 today. Tomorrow I got 10. Now I have 15. I'm saving up to get a
Yeah,
suit,
I'm
but
on
I
the
can't
way
apply for
up.
a job." Yeah, it's like it
Yeah.
just doesn't seem to work that way.
Well, you think about, and it becomes easier the further from poverty you get to kind of not really understand, like how being poor fucks you so hard because, like, when you have a savings, if you get a flat tire, you can repair your flat tire. If you
Right,
don't have
right.
savings and you get a flat tire, you aren't going to work and you probably can't afford a tow truck. Like, it literally fucks your whole life up. You can't, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You just you don't have the money. So if any little thing happens, it can devastate you. And so, like, that snowball effect of, already being upset, becoming poorer and poorer. And if you bother to try, like, you just before we got on told me all of the shit that happened to you today, and you got a
Mhm.
pretty insulated, good, protected life. But
Oh, for sure, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, we talk about this, that it's what a my shitty thing was I had to drive so much today, and some of it was
yeah.
stressful. I'm like, but I got
Imagine
2
if we could,
vehicles and they
yeah,
both work great, and yeah.
on the cusp of being homeless, even like if you're just making a minimum wage, living in a really expensive city, and you can't afford to make multiple drives, you're paycheck to paycheck, or
Mhm.
you got to decide between driving and buying food or whatever.
And then
It's
what
yeah.
happens again, like I told you, the cat got sick, it's like, okay, so what happens if the cat or the dog or your child gets sick and then you get stuck with this multi-$100 bill? Damn dog.
Yeah,
And
man.
then you're like then you have to go into debt sometimes. You're like, I gotta pay this. I'm gonna have to pay this off, the
Yeah,
best
you gotta have
I
a
can.
job to believe that
Yeah.
you can pay stuff back. Yeah, it's rough, man, and I
Yeah,
just,
some people are just one crisis away. and it's not even that it doesn't even have to be that big of a crisis.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Especially living in an expensive city like, like Seattle or something like that. If
Yeah.
you make a wrong move and you aren't set up to take care of yourself, you're gonna fall real quick. And I don't know. I feel really bad for people. I also sympathize a little bit with the idea of, we tell them like it took a long time for me to be convinced that buying into the American dream was like really worth it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, that's a hard proposal to, like, sell to somebody who's had the shit kicked out of them by life to be like, "Hey, you should be a part of this." It's like, "Well, what is a part of this?" It's like, bust your ass all the time and then,
And then hope you
bear
can
and then
retire.
yeah, and then get kicked in the nuts constantly, and then yeah, it's it's a hard sell,
And
especially
you're
if you're
still
homeless and you're yeah,
I was just gonna
semi-comfortable,
say you're
some of
still,
them.
like, at the beck that you you still
The
deal with
whims
the
of
snake
yeah.
in it, of the world that they get to move up while they do absolutely nothing for work. Jasmine, go lay down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Damn.
And, I think even though homelessness sucks, at least it does give you a sense of, like, it when you're sitting there at the bottom like, if you can live homeless and live on the side of the road and know you're gonna be able to eat, and you kinda can just, like, live and then watch all the other people working and stuff, and you've never been successful or whatever, had been exposed to, like, the fruits of, like, your labor, that I could see why you might be like, "Yeah, this is alright, like, at least it's familiar.
Yeah,
At least I don't have to
well, yeah, when shit hits the fan for the rest of us, you're gonna be set up much better for the real world.
Well, that's why I was talking to James the other day, and we were talking about veterans and stuff who are just like, they know how to fight hard and work hard, and they also could, um be members of society, but maybe they don't want to be. Maybe they don't like, maybe they aren't buying into whatever the system is that we're pitching. And so they're like, I'm just going to go live off on my own in a
Mm,
bus or something like that, you know?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, but I think that's a difference because I think those people still find a comfortable way to live. Like, they'll
Yeah.
find a
Well, I
comfortable way to
think
live in the woods or a bus. What are you doing?
maybe that's what the next part of this topic is then, like kind of separating out because there's like a mass variety of like homeless,
Mhm.
you know? They're not all one category.
Yeah, agreed.
Tons of yeah. So what you're describing in Seattle, a a lot of them are on drugs and they're
Like rock bottom.
mentally yeah, like really mentally unwell and, probably at this stage of life they're in would not be able to integrate into society and don't really have much prospects for ever doing that. Living in tents probably, right? Most of them
Mhm.
or
Yep.
shelters
Yeah, and the crazy
if they're
thing too is a lot of them at one point had lived a normal life, and then they had gotten to the drugs that made them homeless.
Mm,
And then again, I hear a lot of those type of the people, they end up having sometimes a support system, and so they're like, "I'm gonna help you get into a, help you get your sobriety back, get you into a" whatever those houses are called, and then they still once they get sober, there's a lot of times they go back, and then it's like it's the same pattern, and they're just homeless again, and you can't find them, and
yeah, there's something that's common among all of those types of people about just like this demoralized aspect that even if they get sober, I saw it with my aunt. She never recovered, and she recovered multiple times from drugs and alcohol and things like that. But she would recover and she'd be doing well, and you would see it, and it would just be like, there's just this pervasive depression throughout her life. You would there was no it I could see she didn't feel any reason not to do like, the drugs at least gave her some sense of enjoyment while she was doing them. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, going through the motions of life isn't fun either, just, like, being sober and just doing a job, like, you gotta
No,
find something beyond that. to
Yeah,
live
yeah, you
for.
gotta find a way to handle it without the drugs.
Well, why but when you say find a way to handle it, yeah, it's
Well, some people, and by drugs, I mean, like, hardcore drugs, some people are like, "Okay, maybe I need to get on some antidepressants, or maybe I do need to find a hobby, or maybe I need to go to the gym, or maybe I need to find a job that really helps me or that, like, really provides me structure and I enjoy it." I think that's
but
a big
you
part of it. You
have
gotta be able to
to
get want structure. Yeah.
yeah, that idea of, like, wanting to improve your life, like, feeling like life is valuable enough to try to fight to find a reason to live it
Mhm.
is, I think, where a lot of those people, they don't have that. Like, they see no reason to, wanna give it, effort. I might be projecting, but I feel like that's a thing with people who can't recover from drugs and substance abuse is, like, they lack a reason to do it or, you know
Well, once you start that substance abuse, that reason diminishes pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Well, it replaces it. It almost, like, replaces your reason. It tricks you into thinking that the drug is the one thing that provides you happiness in an otherwise miserable like, you won't find happiness outside of it. It darkens everything else around it so that you're like, "Oh, this is my one light in the dark is this thing."
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why people say don't ever try, like, heroin or anything like that because once you try it, you can't go back. You'll never experience life the same way
Oh,
again
because you
because
enjoyed
heroin
it so
makes you
much.
it makes you feel so good, yeah, and then you're like, after it, it's like the world seems dimmer. It's really scary.
That is really scary. That's like I already know that I have a semi, addictive personality. So,
Mm,
the idea it's funny because the idea of that keeps me from being any remote interest of doing
yeah,
these sort of hardcore drugs.
same. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta work on my perspective because I also feel like my perspective is a little bit like, I don't do any of those substances, but I think life is mostly miserable, but I feel like I just have to do it. I don't know if that's the best
Mm.
perspective either.
Well, I think it's better than finding a bad vice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think life at its best should not feel like you just have to soldier through it and it fucking sucks, you know?
No, no, absolutely. You gotta
Yeah, that's a bad one.
enjoy, and it's like, you know what I always find, and you're good about going on vacation once in a while too, is like once you hit
Sometimes, yeah.
a vacation date, or for me, it's like, oh, I know at the end of this month I get to go freaking camping for 4 days, and I'm like super stoked about that. So I'm like, all right, that's what I'm looking forward to, my next thing. And then right after that, the kids are here, and then I'm like, and then I look at, like, things I know I'm gonna do in the future that I already have set,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "That's my next exciting thing. That's my next exciting thing." And, of course, there's excitement in the meantime that's unplanned or something, but that's kinda how I think I look at it, is just looking at that next exciting thing.
That's goals and structures. Those are 2 things that homeless people do not have.
Yeah, it's true.
Goals of like, yeah, and setting a having a calendar and having something to look forward to. Yeah, I can see it. I can see why people would be homeless.
Well, the
Um,
homeless in Alaska is a lot different than homeless in Washington.
it's
You're
getting
looking
pretty
at
bad in our area. That's the
oh
reason I
oh,
even
I'm
mention
talking
it.
about how more dangerous it can be.
Probably so.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, in small towns like ours, the community is less, um,
Tolerant?
easily bamboozled, I guess, by the politicians. Because
Oh, yeah.
what you mentioned earlier, your frustrations with the homeless is not the people themselves, it's the politicians and the lawmakers that allow and enable this problem to just grow and grow and grow and grow and
Mhm.
grow. Like,
Yeah.
that's the problem, really. You can't really be mad at individual, for whatever the circumstances of their life are. But, here in Wasilla, yeah, we've got a couple people who are just, like, sprawled out and trashing certain areas, and, I saw on Facebook there was this comment thread with just hundreds of people, and some lady posted the guy. He's next to Fred Meyers on the corner, and she's like, "He's literally trashing the whole area. Are we, as a community, gonna let this one guy make our whole area an eyesore? Like, should we let that happen?" And there was like, I would say the majority of people agreed with her, was like, that is a problem. And then there was a fairly large amount of people who were also like, don't judge him. He's great. And like, you've never walked in his shoes. And like, why don't you get out there and help him clean it? I heard one good comment, which was like, have you thought about giving him a trash can and and a trash bag and telling him to like, hey, here's your fucking trash, pick, like giving him some ownership over it. I was like,
Yeah.
that's actually a really good idea.
It's worth a shot, that's for sure.
And I drove past today. Guess what? I saw all the trash. I don't know if he did it, but there was 2 trash bags that were tied up, just filled with trash. So either he did it or someone came out and helped him do it. But
Funny,
yeah, interesting,
funny. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
he needed a
interesting to
purpose.
watch how a small. Yeah, interesting to watch how a small town handles that kind of shit
Yeah,
versus
but
like
you
a
can get
bigger
yourself in
city.
trouble for that, but you're absolutely right, 'cause I talked about how the last city I lived in, it was a city, but it's like a small town sort of feel. It's like once there's one homeless person, everyone's like, "This person's here, I see them in this corner all the time," and da da da, and then all of a sudden they kind of aren't there anymore because I imagine someone's like, "Well, I'm just gonna go scare them off because the police can't do anything. They can be what are they gonna, "Oh, go move over here," and then it's like, "Okay, same problem, different spot," and then you get some citizen who's, like, gonna go and be like, "Get the fuck out of here before we get you out of here."
See, that's a great point. And then what you just pointed to is another reason I can understand why there's an appeal to being homeless, because there's like laws, and the more money you make, the more your hands are bound. That's what I don't like about making money. Like, I
Yeah.
can't say fuck all because I have to worry about protecting my business. I have to, like, the more money you make, the more responsibility you have, and the more you have to toe the line. The more entrenched you become in working society, the
Oh,
more
yeah, like,
you
you can't say
become,
what you mean on
you're
social media.
fucking domesticated and neutered. Yeah, it's like,
Yep.
I can't, I have all these clients, I have all these responsibilities. There's a part of me that would love to be on the corner and just be able to just fucking scream whatever I want. And
Right.
it's like, at least you're like, you are able, you're free. I don't know if they think about it like that, but I do see that as an appeal.
That's
Like, the
funny.
cops can't do shit. What are you gonna do? If I want to do it, I'm gonna fucking do it. It's kind of like a nice feeling in a way.
I mean, if you could find a way to live, like, essentially income free, like, I have no income, but I have somewhere I can camp out, I can fish, provide food, make fires. As long as you're, like, comfortable as far as, like, can be away from the elements, I would assume that would be kind of an ideal kind of life. I mean, what's nice is
Yeah,
this house, and I have nice couch, and I have a nice bed or
yeah. There's total perks to being
yeah,
part of society for sure.
yeah.
I just think sometimes it's like, at what cost, and that's worth looking at. Well, we also have a homeless problem, and though they're not all responding to like society, some of them are rejecting society and the rules that come along with it, because it's almost like we're like shaking a leash and a collar at them, and we're like, come on, come on, come on, come be normal, come. And then as soon as they come over, you fucking grab them and cut their hair real quick and scrub them up, and you're like, all right, get in the fucking cubicle over there, get to work, bitch. It's like, dude, fuck up, I'm going back, I'm gonna be a savage,
That's
I'm
true.
gonna be an animal.
But you can't do that in downtown Seattle. Yeah, I mean, you can't live a comfortable homeless life. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you live
well,
a
they're all
trashy
on
life.
drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, so
A
if, like,
trashy life, yeah.
if you can live a normal life being willfully homeless, like, sweet. Yeah, don't bother me. You ain't bothering me. I don't really care. But what really drives me nuts is when politicians, they run on, we got to stop the homeless. We got to stop the homeless. And here's an initiative. Please give us, 200 million more dollars. And then it's like, it's not even close to any better. I don't even see us like, you have not done a thing. Are you holding that money until the rich people come to town so that you can house them for 3 or 4 days?
Yeah. The reality is, the rich people and the lawmakers and the politicians have absolutely no idea how to handle the homeless. That's what makes this kind of an interesting topic because I don't think there is really an ideal solution to handling the homeless, but they all pretend like they know what they need to do to help the homeless. Oh, we'll just put them in houses and do do do. It's like this ain't gonna work, dude. It's a fucking
No.
lie.
And
It's
then,
a fucking
okay,
lie.
say you built this, like, utopia for homeless. I mean, there's places in Anchorage like this too that I used to even work for. It's like for formerly homeless, and sometimes it works out okay, but then typically what happens is the place is gonna get trashed here pretty damn soon, 'cause that's the only
Trashed,
place they know
yeah.
how to live, or the only way they know how to live.
And then you gotta think a certain amount of them don't really even, like, care to be housed in a way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They
Yeah,
don't
they
get
wanna be
what
caged.
you're offering them is integration on the base on the lowest level. It's like low stakes, like here's a bed, here's a house, like but your expectation is when you give that to them, they're gonna start like taking some ownership and like maybe making their bed, maybe taking some pride of
Um,
ownership, things that come are basically like being a part of a normal, part of society. These are people who don't even want to be a part of that. So if you give it to them, then they're going to see it as a crash pad or
mhm,
whatever. It's not the same. So
yeah.
you, you know,
I think what
I
drives me even
understand.
more
Yeah.
nuts is the people with a lot of money who go, "Yes, let's pay these taxes to help these people. I'm okay paying more money, and so should you."
Mm.
And then they'll keep doing that over and over again because they have all the money they need and they feel good about it, while I'm sitting here shelling out more and more and more and watching nothing happen. So they feel good about it. I feel like shit because I'm more poor and there's nothing happening with the homeless.
Yeah. Money is not the solution. Throwing money at problems is a rich people privilege to be able to
Mhm.
just throw money at a problem and then be like, I did my part. It's like, no, if you want to do your part, get in there and figure out what the fuck to do, you
Yeah,
know?
I think
Cause
charity is more a better way to go in a sense, because like you said too, it's like maybe they just don't want that, and once you give them a little bit, they're like, "Sweet," like you said, crash pad, or, "Cool, I can make this sleeping bag work for me for 2 weeks because I don't really care about it that much, and it's just gonna get trashed."
yeah. A lot of people need human connection, and a lot of us don't have time to. I've expressed this many times on this podcast. When you work all the fucking time, you can't go to a soup kitchen and volunteer your time and try to meet and interface with these people and try to build connections with them to make them feel like they're part of a greater community. Like they're lacking they're lacking involvement in the thread because we don't really have communities anymore. That's why in a bigger city, it's even worse of a problem. But like when we're all overworked like we are right now, the idea of going out and like picking up trash with the homeless and like even giving them any amount of time, it's like it comes with it fills you with this animosity that's a reaction because it's like, I'm already fucking overworked.
Yeah,
You want me to go out and do that shit? Fuck
donate
you.
my
You
time,
fucking
yeah.
do it. He
There
ain't
are
my
people out
fucking
there that feel
problem.
great about it, and to
Yeah,
each
yeah, yeah.
their
But
own.
my point is that if we weren't all so overworked, we would be able to be a healthier society and we'd be able to take care of people the way they need to be taken care of, which is not like give money to the politicians and hope they fix it. No, we have to be able to get out there. If every one of us, it's like the old saying of like, if we wanted to get rid of the litter, all of us should go out on a day and pick up a couple pieces of trash and we'd like clean up the earth so much. It's the same thing with the homeless. If each of us could volunteer a little bit of time with one person, we could help so much.
So
But
if you had more time, would you?
but that would involve us all being like happier with our I
You're right,
you know what I mean?
it's like, yeah, because everybody
We
would.
don't feel like we're part of a
Yeah,
community. I don't
right.
feel like I'm integrated in my own community. I feel like the politicians are lying to us. You know what I mean? Everybody I run into is a dick because they're all tired as well.
Mhm.
So we don't really have like I even with working class people, I don't have much camaraderie with them. We don't get together as little groups of people anymore and just enjoy each other's company.
But I'll
We're all
tell you,
just
I don't
working.
at work, I don't wanna do that. That's what drives me nuts is, like, I hate team
Work's
bonding
not the
stuff.
place for it.
Correct. Like,
It's the
"You wanna
opposite
take
of
this
that.
team bonding time? Here's an hour. Give me a free hour of work." Like, that would
Yeah.
me really
I
make
don't
me
come
happy.
yeah. You don't the goal isn't to make work more like, free time, it's to just give me more fucking free time.
Yeah,
Don't try to trick me into thinking I'm having fun while I'm generating money for your company.
yeah, or what also drives me nuts is they're like, "Yeah, let's do these events after work." So now I'm spending more time at this job, I'm doing
Yeah,
this stuff.
exactly.
Like,
No,
if you
it's
wanna
not
do
the
it during the
workplace.
day, if we all wanna do a chili cook-off in the middle of the day, okay, I could do that. But if we have to do if it's like, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock, let's go outside and have a picnic," it's like, "No, I'm going home. I got other responsibilities I gotta take care of."
They do that because I feel like our country is fairly well aware that we all work way too much, and we have the threat of the working class just you see it all everywhere, coming to work and shooting people up or what the fuck ever. Just like, I'm done with this shit, just leaving. You see that people are so dissatisfied with their work life balance. And so the people, those liberal people you're talking about that are at the top, they look at it and they say, what can we do to try to like they want to be problem solvers. They want to make you feel like even though you're working a lot, work is a place you can enjoy and be comfortable. It's like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I know what's going on. It feels degrading for you to try to convince me that this is a fucking adequate substitute for community. It's not,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
even
yeah.
though it's the closest to community that most of us get at this point.
Yeah, but it's like, it's coming from the wrong spot. It shouldn't be coming
No,
from your
it's
work, yeah.
pathetic. It's pathetic that that's the closest thing to relationships that a lot of us have as our coworkers.
Mm,
I
mhm.
mean, no, we should be able to like you go to your dance thing. More people should do stuff like that. We should have more of those kinds of things where these are just
Yeah,
like
and I built
your
some
friends and
really good friends
neighbors.
doing some of that stuff. That's where, like,
I
I don't
yeah.
make good friends at work. I can count on maybe okay, I've been working for as an adult for, 18 years now. I can count on one hand how many really good friends I've met in a workplace
Yeah. And
that I'll still talk
also
to this day.
your boss is not your friend. So
Right.
don't fall into that trap because they might try to act like they're your friend, but they can still fire you. You're still like, that's the worst kind of toxic relation. They always tell you don't mix friends and business because
Correct, yeah.
at a certain point, business money is going to,
Isn't that what we're trying to do?
supersede. Well, yeah, but we had friendship first. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah.
And also we're not making any money and we're unlikely to make any money. We'll address that when we cross that
Exactly.
bridge, but
Future Nick and Mark problem.
maybe at that point we'll be like trying to kill each other for
Yeah, yeah. For $100.
um yeah. Nah, but I think I think the work life balance is just completely out of whack here. And yeah, I guess to summarize that whole point, we don't have enough time or places or we just don't have any communal connection anymore. Church, I guess, used to be that, but
And it's
religions
making a
become
comeback too. No, it's
it's
making a
making a
comeback.
comeback, but it's still not what it was. It's still
Right.
like if you go to when I went to Japan during the New Year, every fucking buddy was at the shrine, like, and in a giant line, and it was literally fucking everyone. Little kids were standing with their parents in these lines that were like thousands of people long just to walk up to a shrine and pray. And they were like little 2 or 3 year old kids, and they like
Oh,
knew they're like, this is what we do. And it just there was like no question, there was no mockery. It was like everyone just kind of like knew that that was what you do, right? It was like an unquestioned part of like society. Whereas here, Christianity or whatever, well, first off, we just have a ton of religions,
yeah.
but religion is balked at, mocked. If you participate in it, you it's not there's always an opportunity to opt out of it here, whereas there, it's like, you don't even it's not even like a question. It's like, yeah, you're going to the shrine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're expected to.
I
So
wonder if it was
that
like
yeah.
we're still
Hmm?
such a young country, so I'm like, I think we're just going through some ridiculous
Growing
growing
pains.
pains, yeah,
Yeah.
and I bet
Yeah, yeah.
places like Japan and China have, like, as you're
Thailand,
they've
giant
all
temples.
yeah, they've all dealt with that probably at one point or another, and then it all bounced back to what it's supposed to be, or a lot of those places that like that have more government, and so then it
They
becomes a little
do,
bit
they
more.
have more government and they have a tighter community. They have just a tighter communal existence of like their cultural fabric is strong. You're just there's so many people in such a small area. And here we were just founded different here. We were founded on the principles of like individualism here. And that to them, they don't really get that. Like
Mhm.
they look at that and they're like, why do you have to have a fucking opinion about literally everything? It's like, no, we're proud of like having an opinion about everything. It's like,
Yeah,
why?
except we're going down that path and not being able to do that, or at least some people. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
fair
have an
enough.
opinion anymore, and that's why I'm like, is this part of, like, is this are we gonna have these same sorta issues? And so these are growing pains, and we're gonna eventually be forced down more government down our throats, in order to get everybody in line, and maybe more forced religions, I don't know, but America was founded on, like, freedom, and right now, you have none. If
Yeah,
you're
freedom. Yeah, freedom on it, and then also like Christian
Mhm.
principles at the
Yep.
core. It was like a big part of it. Like everything probably was all like all of these like ideas probably stemmed from religious epiphanies in a way. Like just thinking about the religious text and like how can we form a country around these ideas, and that's why it was successful for so long because it approached those religious texts as if they were the truth that would keep everything functional, and it worked until we
Yeah.
started to kick at
Shit.
the base of the structure and say like, yeah, who says that's the fucking truth though?
Yep, yep.
Questioning everything like, we don't need that shit. And once you start to do that, then of course, because you're not approaching it as if it's the truth anymore, and then whatever, it's not. It's just, makes sense. I don't know if I didn't like word that greatly,
Oh,
but
I think I knew
you
exactly
know what
where
I'm
you're going,
saying?
it made sense, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. So, but yeah, so that community, that idea of having a unified is something that unified us all, that would probably cut down on unnecessary homelessness because you still have people that you'll still have those people that fall on hard times, you
Mhm.
know, got on drugs, rare occurrences of things like that, but you won't have the like rampant unchecked
Yeah,
homeless like we have
yeah.
now where people are like,
Every
what
single corner of every
an
major
epidemic.
city. Yeah,
You're
yep.
like, what's fucking wrong with us right now that we have
And
this issue?
it makes the city gross too, these people have to defecate in the streets, and we're walking around, we're smelling it, we're seeing it. God, I our friend Micah gave me a story one time where he turned the corner down an alley and then boom, big old vagina lady just taking a leak right in the middle of the alley with a bunch of rats, and I'm like, "Bleh." It's
I've
so
seen people
gross, dude.
jacking off in Seattle. I walked
Yeah,
past the
I
bushes
believe
and
it.
some dude was
So
laying in
gross.
there just jacking off. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking disgusting. But the idea that we're so removed from that, it's like I think my fear is that we're like the fact that we see it so much and stuff, we're like actually really like we're close to that. Like us as working class people, I feel like we run a risk of being them soon, you know?
Oh, sure,
Is that
yeah. We're
is that a
closer to them
fair
than we're closer
concern?
to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
keep trying to move us further from that and push us closer to
Yep,
this.
100%
Like
true.
home ownership is almost um really unattainable to most people.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, worse than ever before. We're
Rent's
at our
going up.
worst.
Yeah, because if I bought a house for some insane amount of money or bought condos or whatever, I want to turn around and rent them, my mortgage payment is high. So then I in turn have to hike up the rent. And
Mhm.
then also if I'm just a dick, if I look around and see where everybody else's rent is at and we're all decide to push rent up artificially, just
Yeah,
more
just
more
because you
uh
can.
yeah, and there's more demand than there are houses, then it's like, well, you got to pay what I want, or you don't have a house to live in, or or you'll figure out a way. I asked one of my
Oh, yeah, I'll
realtors a
find
couple
somebody
years.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what is going to happen for all of these people who are like renting and stuff? And she's like, Honestly, I think people are going to just have to start sharing space."
Yep. Well,
And
that's
I
why,
was like,
like,
ooh,
you've
that's
kinda seen that
fucking sad, dude.
people our age are still living with their parents.
Yeah, or like someone will convert their garage into a rental and turn it into making money. But then the idea that you would have to find some, I see it all the time actually with renters that I know on Facebook. They're like, anybody want to looking to rent a place with me or something like that? Like, you can't afford it by yourself anymore if you're not making very much money.
Yeah,
That's sad that you have to live with, other
especially at our
people.
age. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't
Depressing.
imagine. Yeah,
Can't
what
do
a
it.
fun episode.
You do it like,
Oh,
the times for that is when you're going to college, right? Where you're like, "I'm trying to work as many hours as I can while I'm going to school, so, let's rent a place together." Or dorms, but typically that's not always a very good option either. Um, but then after you go to college, you should be able to get a job, and then you should be like, "Well, sweet, now I can save to buy a house," but you just can't do it. Most people
I
can't
think I'm
do it.
gonna if and when we have a kid or 2, I just can imagine myself if things don't improve, my number one thing is they get to an age where they have to start taking responsibility for themselves, like, high school, middle school, whatever, where it starts to become important that you pay attention. It's gonna be like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be very dire and frank about it, where it's like, you don't have the luxury to fuck around like we did when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, we had a little bit of leeway to, like a little runway to, like, mess up and whatever, but it's like, when you're on your own out here, it's gonna be if you don't have your shit lined up and lined out at a certain point, you're not gonna yeah, you're gonna be living with me, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna
Um,
make your life miserable.
yeah, it's just like you
I'm gonna
we're
fuck
not
your mom
playing
every night on
anymore.
the other side of the wall.
He needs this.
It's for the child. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, walking around the house naked and all that
yeah.
shit.
This is your fault.
Um, yeah. Yeah, seriously, because it's like, they're not like we were where it's like, "Oh, yeah, go fuck around at art school." It's like, "Dude, you gotta figure out what the fuck are you gonna do? Because
Yeah.
this is
Well,
like, this
most people
country
these days, they make
sucks."
fun of, art degrees, so
Well, this I guess when I was growing up, I had the illusion that this country was, like, a real fun good place to be. And then over the past like 10 to 15 years, it's like become increasingly not the case where it's like this place is fucking cutthroat, it's hard, jobs are vanishing. So
mhm.
don't fuck around and pick a play job, get a real job. Like,
Yeah, go to trade school. I think
yeah,
it's,
it's like
like,
what's
smarter
the
than going to
fucking
college.
perks of living in a society at this point? This is not an appealing, you know what I mean? Like you said, like it almost seems ideal to like go live off the grid and just like buy a piece of land and not take part in it. Like, I don't know. I guess that the allure is that you'll make a bunch of money and you'll be able to do like actually do some cool. Like, there still are some cool things that you can do if you have money.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like you gotta have lots of money. You can't, you can't work at the grocery store and afford to have
Yeah,
a nice car and a motorcycle and take 2-week vacations in Mexico or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm
Those
being
are
a little
essential jobs.
melodramatic. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe there are maybe you still can have fun here. It's just depressing when you look around and see people, like, not being able to do that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But but, uh
As long as they're not a piece
but
of shit
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so yeah, we gotta, like, for the homeless thing, it would be ideal if we could build some sense of community, because I really think what's lacking for people, what would be the thing that might make people turn a new leaf and see the appeal of living life would be to be around other people who already have that spark in them of, like, I'm at least, like, have a point for living, and just being around, like, exposed to that, that's your one and only shot of it coming over to you, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense because I think about, like, with my dad, he was always working. He was always finding a way to hustle and make sure we had, enough food on the table. You never saw him have a lazy day. I mean, he went from construction to plowing snow in the middle of the night to trying to start new businesses, and then we would do karate at night. Like, it was wild. Like, I was like, when did this guy sleep? So I think about a
Yeah.
lot, like, just that kind of work ethic has definitely probably helped me just make sure that I keep growing and growing. Like, I haven't had to take a step backwards as far as a job goes and accepted that. So that's good. I think you're right. You gotta have that some sort of mentor that has that
A
motivation
mentor.
and that work ethic.
I think motivation and work ethic are part of it. I also think just, like, stability, because I think it's hard to think when you're fucked up and stressed all the time and you don't know what's going on and you're kind of at the whims of, like, whatever happens, like, you're blowing like a leaf in the wind. Like, you can't rationalize and process things appropriately without something that presents, like, a routine and stability. Like, the soup kitchen thing is kind of like a little bit of that, where it's like, these guys are gonna be here every whatever time handing out food. It doesn't have to be food necessarily, but it's just the fact of, like, the stability. They're reliable. I see you every day. You see me every day. Like, I ask you about this. Like, you start to look forward to those things. You could start to build on that. That's just as stability you can build a foundation on that.
It's like, well, they literally call it like the homeless community. That's like their own
Yeah.
little community. And if they
But
could find the stability, people with multiple people with a lot of stability that want to get structure, potentially they do work together to have a little more tight knit community. You see that a lot in movies and shows, but there's always a
yeah, they
leader.
need
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they need people who who are doing decently well, I think, to lead that, because, you know, all of them there's something that caused them to fall to the position they're in. So that's not that rep to me, that would suggest that you have some pretty big blind spot. I don't know exactly what it is, but, like, whatever it is, you, like, fell totally to the bottom. And so that is not someone you can rely on to be your, like, bedrock
That's true
foundation.
too. That's why it's probably pretty hard to build some sort of actual strong community from the bottom.
Yeah, because they're gonna have a time where their weakness is, like, in full control of them at whatever point, and it's just in you at that time, you gotta have somebody who can, be like, "Nah, dude, it's all good. We'll figure this out," or whatever, you
Yeah,
know?
it's very true.
Yeah, I don't know. I was also like, there's homeless people like that, and then there's people that live out of their cars and things like that, who are actually otherwise, like, they are working and
Mhm.
stuff. Like you were saying, some little thing, whatever happened, and it just completely fucked up their ability to afford a house. And
Or
now they
just
have to
any
sleep
sort
in
of
their
shelter, right? Yeah.
yeah, now they have to sleep in their car and go shower at the gym and stuff, and you wouldn't even know it. And I think there's, like, a lot of people that are living
Yeah,
like
and they
that
still
right
show up
now.
for their job.
And they just barely afford the rental that they have or whatever.
Mhm.
They're, like, on the cusp of being, like, homeless.
Yeah,
I think that's a
that's true. I
common
think there's
thing.
probably quite a bit of people like that.
I think so too. I think that's, like,
But
the
it's like,
people who
okay,
are
so I can afford
yeah.
gas in my car and it's my mode of transportation because I can't afford even call it a studio and pay for those utilities, that gas and electric, and it's like the gas I can pay for is just what I can pay for in my car to get me to and
Yeah.
from my job.
Yeah, I think a lot of us get used to cutting corners to make ends meet here. There's not abundance for, like you said, if you work at a grocery store, you're unlikely to have an abundance of resources that you're gonna have to make cuts somewhere. Like a lot of people don't have
Mhm,
health insurance.
mhm.
A health crisis, like you said, that could put you out on the street too.
Yeah. You know what I found though, like, back when I didn't have enough money to pay for that stuff, I had to go to the ER for a kidney stone, and, thankfully, and that was really expensive. Oh, sorry. So,
Excuse you.
um, there and the multiple bills you get from that stuff is crazy, but because I didn't make very much money, they a lot of hospitals had the ability to waive your care,
Mm,
like, your bills and stuff, which was a godsend at the moment. It was, like, just freshly divorced and paying way more in child support than I could ever imagine I'd have to afford, and, then I had a health crisis, but thankfully, they were able to I mean, that's not even that bad. A kidney stone?
yeah.
Come on. But they're like,
S-
"Let's get you an ultrasound, and let's pump you full of drugs, and let's get you an IV," and then
Yeah. Everyone's got to get paid once you got
yeah,
something going
yeah.
on.
You get a bill for
Like
shit, you're
eight,
like, "I didn't even know this happened." I got sent to collections for, like, a $40 bill because I had
dude,
moved, and I never saw the bill till my credit
it's a
crashed, and
fucking
I was like because I watch my credit constantly, so I was like, "What the fuck happened?" And then I would call, then I was like, "Are you serious? That's what it's for?" Like, boom,
40
paid
bucks, you
for
little
it.
bitch. You
Yeah,
little bitch ass.
yeah.
Uh, fucking destroy my credit.
Thankfully, once you
Yeah.
pay that, it just goes right back to normal.
Yeah, still though, they thought they needed to send you to collections, like overreacting.
Yeah,
Come on.
seriously. It's like, you clearly did
Yeah.
not try very hard to contact me because I know because I moved and I changed my phone number, but I called the hospital to let them know. So then it was like a subcontractor type person or whatever you wanna call, like, they're the ones that didn't even bother to call the hospital to try and get my current information.
Just try to like blackmail you into paying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, if he wants to fix it, yeah.
Yeah,
They knew if they
exactly.
sent it to collections, you'd have to fix it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Of course, we won't be able to solve the homeless problem, but
I don't
it
think we
was
ever
worth
will.
talk. No, it was worth talking about, even though
Yeah.
there's no solution. I just find it interesting.
Let's take a pee break.
And then you want to do the wheel? Do
Yeah,
the
so
wheel.
yeah,
All right.
alright.
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever.
Security
Security. Yep.
and housing.
And you, viewers, if you have anything to add to the conversation, adrenaline.
We just added
If
that.
you have anything to, I just picked the dumbest time I could could have said that. If you have anything to add to the conversation about the homeless or anything we're talking about, please comment. We need more topics. We need more involvement. We're trying to build a community here. That's what we're fucking trying to do in our
Yeah,
little
be
way.
lifers.
Be
I don't know, we
lifers
haven't coined that
and
term
yeah,
yet.
that's a good one, lifer. Yeah. Be a
Yeah,
lifer. Join us. We're trying to have fun. So join the fun. Yeah. Drop
I
a
like it.
comment. Yeah.
Dude, adrenaline and security.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it away.
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, the security of your house and there's somebody breaks in.
Your adrenaline's gonna kick in right away.
Oh my gosh, dude, I can't like, you've had those times where you're sleeping and then you're like, you hear something, you're like, "What the fuck was that?" Right? You ever do that?
Uh yeah, when I'm on the verge of sleeping, I've heard like a like a crunch or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
my house
Dude,
doesn't
no,
make that
I
noise.
pop up and I'm like, I gotta go look. So
I'm
I
like,
get
where's my
up.
gun?
I it's right here.
We'll go viral if Mark shoots a hole in his ceiling.
Yeah, right here. No, because I'm like, what I won't be able to do is go back to sleep unless I know the house is secure. And then because my adrenaline won't drop until I know, like, okay, it was just something stupid, something weird, no big deal. Like I
Got to get
certainly,
that confirmation.
yeah. Sometimes I'd go out and like I'll hear something, and I'll go out. I'll literally go outside and take a look, and Jess like, "What are you doing? What are they doing?" I'm like, "Well, this is what I'm supposed to do."
Then I'm gonna die. Yeah.
I'm supposed to make sure you're safe. Make sure no one's breaking in
Hannah's a
my fucking car.
Hannah's a good shot. I told her,
That's right.
well,
I
she's
remember you
got her
saying
own
that.
gun. So it's like, if I go out, I'll handle the first line of defense, and then you just stand like duck down on the side of the bed, aim at the doorway. If you hear me go down,
Yeah.
ba 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 ba.
Anytime that like, say I went to Boston for like 4 or 5 days for work. I give Jess another little quick class in handgun 101, just like in case you need it. And then when we went to North Carolina to see Joe, we went shooting with the kids, and Jess got to shoot her first gun. Lights out. So good.
What
Because
type of gun was it?
so it was technically a handgun, but it was built with a stock. It was I'd have to ask Joe. It was pretty sweet. I think it was just 9 mil, but it was a special kind that you actually still hold like a rifle, but it was technically a handgun because we're on the handgun range. Um,
Nice.
and then Joe would sit there, and every time she'd shoot, he'd go hit, 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 and and we're like, hot damn, lady, all right.
Dude, yeah, Hannah embarrassed me when we went to the range because she was hitting it like so good. I was having a hard time because I didn't grow up shooting a lot of pistols. We shot rifles, hunting and stuff. For some reason, they were like, no, you don't get to shoot the pistol. So I had
Yeah,
to
it's
wait till I was an
definitely more of
adult.
a security thing, which with my dad, of course, was always something that was being taught.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
okay,
finally
so
figured it out
of
how
course
to.
you did. Now you're way better than she is.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
It's like right away. It was like,
remember remember when my house, when it was more finished, right? So you had my room, and you go down the stairs of the landing, go down the other few stairs, heater on the left, my dad's office on the right.
mm,
And then he had like this custom built bookshelf that he made. Well, he showed me that he hollowed out a book and stuck like a compact in there. And he was like, okay, this is how you feel for it. He goes, you feel all the books, and then once you get the one, or like you're feeling the books, and then once you hit the one that's got this hump, that's the one you can grab in the dark. And that's the one you know to grab. Like, that's how I was raised.
just like somebody
So you
comes
wonder
in
why
and,
when I hear something, I'm like, grab the gun, let's go.
yeah, that's hilarious. It's in the book. So if somebody breaks in, you're like, I'm just, hey, it's all good. I'm going to walk back here to the bookshelf.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody did break into my house one year on New Year's. I don't know if you remember this story.
You told it on the podcast already.
Sweet. We're at that. We're at that part where I told
We're using up all our shit. We're out of stories.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna become those old guys.
I like
My
to think
mom
though
does
that
that to me.
I kept my adrenaline pretty low because she didn't seem like a threat, like that much of a threat, and I had these dogs that were like
Yeah,
they were adding the security.
yeah. You didn't have to do much.
No, my grandpa looks up. He's like, I don't know, goes back to sleep.
That's
You're
hilarious.
sleeping on the
It
couch.
wasn't
Yeah,
a non-issue.
yeah. He's like, I don't fucking
But
know. You
sometimes
deal
it
with it.
seems like a non-issue, and then it actually turns out to be a real issue.
So there
You
was
never know.
a murder here, literally a mile from my new house on Friday, and it freaked me out a little bit because it was so close to home. And the reason is because at first it was being told as a home invasion. So reported as a home invasion, man comes in and I believe stabs a woman. Husband has defensive wounds. He goes to the hospital. even closer to my house. Turns out not a home invasion. Husband stabs, kills wife. And then I was like, oh, thank God. Which I was like, that's not how I mean it, but I'm like, I'm really glad there was not a home invasion around here.
You're really glad they had a terrible marriage and then it was just that.
No,
That's
it's
funny.
gross though. It's like, what the hell could possibly, I can't think of a single thing that Jess would do that
It would
I'd
make
be
you want to
like,
shoot her
stab
or
her.
stab
He
her.
stabs her to death. Like,
It
yeah.
happens though, man. It happens. We just watched a true crime documentary about a husband that did that to his wife. They were engaged, and it's like still don't they haven't pinned it on him yet, but it's like pretty obvious that he just stabbed her like many, many, many times, like 10, 12, however many times, and then pretended like he opened the door. He's like, "Oh my gosh, she stabbed herself," and it was categorized as
80
a suicide.
times.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of stabs. She had strangulation injuries and shit like that.
You
But
should have seen it.
yeah,
It
it
was
does.
wild.
It makes you wonder why people would go to that extreme. It's like, dude, just leave. Just fucking leave.
Yeah, well, they're the type of people that are typically homeless. But
With the killers?
no, the people that short fuse will do something out of just quick reaction, like mentally unstable, essentially, a lot of the
Yeah.
times. But another thing I was thinking about with security and adrenaline is like how adrenaline itself is just, it's like, it's essential. It's essential for your security, the fight or flight. Or the other day I was wearing my fight or fight penguin shirt.
Fight or
Because
fight?
no, it was fight or fight. Yeah, fight or fight because it
It's
was
only
a
one
penguin.
option.
Yeah, because it can't fly.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I love that shirt.
Got it.
But no, that's like the fight or flight. You have obviously that adrenaline pumping, and somebody has asked me before, and I think I've also told this on the podcast too, is you really think that you could shoot somebody if they broke into your house? And it's like, no question. Well, I mean, as long as I knew they were a major threat, yeah, no question. And I'll live with those
Yeah.
consequences. But yeah.
Yeah. I think my relationship with adrenaline is not a good one because I feel like my adrenaline has been really depleted over the years. I used to we talked about this before. You pointed out I used to be like a punk ass. I used to do all kinds of shit, and it was to get my adrenaline kicked up because when I got my adrenaline kicked up, I would have fun because you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. And that, I guess part of the fun of it is when you're for me, I would do it with other people because I would like to see what they do when their adrenaline gets kicked up because it makes people have to like make quick decisions and like how are you going to react and things like that. Like that was always fun for me. That was why
You
I
kicked
guess
other people's adrenaline up, that's for sure.
that's what I'm saying. I did
Yeah.
it to like kick up someone else's shit and then watch like what are you going to do when your adrenaline's
What
going.
you got off on.
Yeah, but I would kick my own adrenaline up too though. When me and Micah got chased by the dude cuz we were fishtailing the four-wheeler coming out of my dirt road and we're just throwing rocks on either side, which there was nobody around, so it was just for fun. We weren't trying to cause problems, but there was a car, like someone had just cut a lot into the bushes. So it was like thick bushes you couldn't see, but their car must have been parked right there just
You
in the
sprayed 'em.
bushes. Yeah, I'm assuming so. I don't still to this day don't really know what happened, but I turned around and there was a car like right on my ass, and he pulled up next to us, and Micah was driving the four-wheeler and he didn't know what to do, and I was like, we're wearing helmets. I said, just pull over, it's fine. And the car starts fucking pushing us off the road. Like it pulled up beside us and it started to shove us off. And that's when I was like, oh fuck, this is like serious. So we got kind of knocked off onto the edge of the dirt road and stopped. This guy opened his door and he's already at an 11. Like there's no conversation. He's fucking like, oh, you motherfucker. Just like came over like the Tasmanian devil. And I thought we were going to have a conversation. He instantly grabs my shirt I'm wearing a helmet, and he's like, and I was like, go, and Mike is like, punches it. Guy comes unglued up from me, but I turn around, and he's like running back to his car. I think he even got out of his car when it was still fucking moving. When he came up, it was all so fast. Like he jumped out, and anyways, we start to tear off. He is in this heightened state, starts grabbing boulders and like hurling them at us, trying to like hit us with rocks. And we created a decent amount of distance before he could get back to his car and start chasing us again. And I don't know. I think at that point we weren't laughing yet. I think we were still we're
not
fucked.
till after,
No, we made the corner and we got a little ways away, and I turn around and I see his little car in the distance, but it's like closing ground between us because we had
you can only go
like
so
an
fast.
ATV. It wasn't a quad. It could only go like 55, 60.
Yeah.
And he's closing the distance between us, and I'm like, fuck. And he got up behind us. I'm like, stay, like, move to the middle. Don't let him get back around us. So we kept like blocking him. And then we got up to the railroad, and there's that trail.
Wait,
that
the
was
railroad by my
behind.
house?
Yeah, we got to the yeah, we drove from my house, and as soon as we got to the railroad, I was like, hit that fucking trail behind Nick's house to go to Sheep Creek
Lodge. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we went down, we're like going super fast, hitting these monster bumps. And he followed us down the fucking, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, in his car, like right behind us. And luckily there's a tree like mostly blocking the trail that we were able to get around, but it was too narrow for a car. And I turned around and he's like, and he went right up to the tree and then instantly throws it in reverse and like backed out.
Like you didn't even think, he's like, oh, I guess I'm done.
Well, he was like, no, he was going to try to catch us at the other side. But I had Micah,
where that went.
I had Micah hide the four-wheeler, and we took off our helmets and we ran up and we stood on the front porch of the lodge and we watched him like driving by.
Oh
but
my gosh,
we were like, dude, what
crazy.
the fuck? Like he was gonna like fuck our shit up bad, dude. My adrenaline was definitely going at that time.
It was probably that same guy that got mad when we had rocks on the road trying to figure out how to play a hacky sack game.
Could have been. He's just like tired of kids and their fucking rocks everywhere.
Oh, handle
no, these were like party people. I know who they were after the fact. They weren't that old. They must have been in their early 20s, and they bought a lot out there and were just like cleared it enough to start a bonfire and just have like drunk parties.
And
I think they would have fucked. They would have fucked this up. Yeah, they weren't playing, dude. That guy was like, I'm lucky I was wearing a helmet, but many, many instances. My point of bringing that up, I've had so many brushes like that at a young age that like I feel like I kind of nuked my adrenaline.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's funny. You're like, I can't live those days anymore.
I'm unfazed, but I have a constant low grade state of adrenaline, and I guess my point was that you said you pointed out adrenaline is useful, and I was gonna say it can also be a hindrance because I have a constant low grade state of adrenaline that keeps
stress,
me in almost in a permanent state of fight or flight. Creates stress, creates depression. You can never relax. It's almost like I would imagine. I'm not comparing myself to a veteran, but when I've seen veterans who've come back from, I worked with some in real estate who came back from Iraq and shit and had like killed a bunch of people and had been in that constant state of adrenaline. And one of the guys thrived and did really well, and the other one was like me, and he was like, I don't know, man, I'm just fucking bored. And I was like, I know that fucking feeling all too well. He's like, I tried to go out this morning and like try to jump my four-wheeler and just get my adrenaline going just to like feel a little alive, but I just feel this is also fucking boring. And I'm like, oh man, that's like
that makes me think of, and I don't know everything that Joe had to go through when he was in Iraq and he lost his leg, but I know obviously you go through a hard time, and then one thing for him was his faith just kept him so sane. But then he wanted to become like a bodybuilder, and like that will give you some adrenaline, right? Going to the gym, pumping some iron and stuff. And I think that's probably something he loved, and he did that for a long time. Did that a lot too. Still very strong.
Having a family too. He has a family.
Yeah.
And I think that is your like North Star. Like I have a wife, not kids. But and then this guy that
Yeah,
I'm talking about, he didn't
little
have
Mark
he didn't have
soon.
Mark.
How
That's
weird would that
hilarious.
be? Name
Little
it after my
Connor.
podcast partner.
Name him after my podcast. Just call him Life or whatever.
It's good
Real
branding.
life. Yeah.
Sponsor.
But yeah, dude. This guy didn't have a family, the one that had serious, like really bad PTSD and like a sense of purposelessness. Because yeah, like I think when you exist for adrenaline, it's like it that gives you purpose. The purpose is to survive, right?
Dude, actually, you just made a really great point, and I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off, but
No,
Joe was in the Marines and he went to Iraq. And then when he came back, he had now had a family. He had a wife with kids. And he's like,
yeah,
I can't be in the front lines anymore, so I'll join the army. And so it was like taking a step because he was all about the Marines, right? And being in the front lines and being a badass. And then it was like, I have a family. I've got to make sure that I'm around for them. And then, of course, in the army, he's when he actually got hurt. But
right.
but that it really just made me think like maybe like you said that family being your north star. It's like okay, now I don't live for adrenaline anymore. I live for my kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a adrenaline is like drugs. It's like giving your self an
it's like
artificial
the
purpose.
oxytocin of it, right? And so then now your
Yeah.
oxytocin is provided by the happiness you get with having children.
Yeah, because it's not you can't live on adrenaline. Adrenaline is for survival.
Right.
It's to help you get out of a tight spot, but it's really important, right? Because like you said, when your life is at stake and your adrenaline kicks in, it's like you get that clarity of like, I do want to live. All my depression and shit, fuck that. You're faced with a gun in your face, and I want to live, and I need to figure out how to get out of this situation. And then you do, and then you're like, I love my life, right?
Yeah,
But then that
exactly.
wears
Yeah.
off after a little bit. But
Okay, so
that's what it
you can
serves. That's what it's
argue
for.
that like when you go through those adrenaline type issues, it changes how you look at security.
Yeah, yeah, it does. But it can also make you view everything as a security threat or a breach of security when because you're used to relying on adrenaline to be your north star and to tell
Right, but
you
yeah,
when
yeah.
you need to be worried. And like me, if I do have low grade adrenaline all the time and I perceive everything as a threat or I try to control it, I feel like everything's important for me to control it because to me it seems like life or death on some subconscious level. Like I don't think about it that way. I'm like, what? It's not a big deal. But like my nervous system is telling me like, if you don't get this situation under control, you're gonna die on some
Yeah,
subconscious level. That's what
sure,
I've
sure.
been taught through trauma or whatever. To that's how I've been taught to handle problems. But it's not the right way to handle problems. The right way to handle problems is like you said, to have a family and that's your purpose and it's like a more relaxed purpose because it's
Mhm.
like always present, right? And God or whatever, it's like something
And
that's
then
always present,
yeah,
doesn't
so,
go
like,
away.
you
Yeah.
get a huge sense of adrenaline too when you're not 100% sure your child is safe. Um,
Yeah.
okay, it's the same way, like, I don't know if you and Hannah are this way, but Jess and I are this way where it's like, "Hey, whenever I get somewhere, specifically, like, a longer drive, I let you know I got there." Because then
Mm,
if I knew it was supposed to take you 40 minutes and it took and, I'm now 50 minutes in without a text, like, I'm starting to worry. You know, my adrenaline's
mhm.
starting to kick up, you know, and, um, so having that sense of security of people letting you know they're okay keeps that adrenaline from really shooting up too, and so I think about that with my kids too, and it took me a long time to be okay after they didn't live with me full time anymore, right? And once they lived Alaska part time and here part time, it's like I had to talk to them every single day to make sure that they were safe, you know. And there was times where I didn't feel like they were safe, and there was things I'd had to do to make sure or find a way to make sure it was okay because it's like you can't live on that heightened adrenaline, like you said. Like you're gonna have a heart attack, like
Yeah,
you're gonna
you
let that
can't you
stress
can't
kill you.
exactly. You can't use that to tell adrenaline tells you that you're gonna die. It's life or death. Everything's life
Yeah.
or death. Yeah. That's the whole point of it. It's really good if you need that, but if you don't need to approach it like a life or death situation, then it's not a
Yeah, like
useful tool.
there's no way it's healthy for you to be living in a sense of like a little bit of adrenaline constantly being dripped down
No,
your
it's
body.
and you don't feel it anymore, but it gives you a sense of like, yeah,
So what's it
it
gonna be
makes
like when
things.
you really do feel like it's life or death? Are you gonna feel it?
No, I've had those situations when I'm in situations where things are escalated. I actually like. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about like I've been around the guy who was like dying and I had to help him like with CPR and shit like that, or other things like that where other people, like car crashes or things like that. Car crash, perfect example. I just had a really major car accident. Is I immediately got out of my car and started to handle the situation
So there's almost
and
a
told the
positive.
other guy sit down. Like I was normal. That's the thing. I'm normal. And the lady who saw it was like, "Ah, ah, ah," like she couldn't
She
talk. And I'm like,
saw it, yeah.
hey, calm down. I gave her a hug. I'm like, calm down. It's okay. We're both alive. Like I'm comforting her. She's like, I thought you were dead. And it's like, I just am always prepared for that. And so when it
Yeah, yeah.
happens, it doesn't feel any different to me, which is
Well,
not good.
maybe someday you are really, or maybe you already have, you've like saved a life because of it, and that's like kind of your was part of your purpose too, you know? It's like maybe there are some pros
That's a
to it,
nice thought.
but it's not
Yeah.
obviously it's I can't imagine what it feels like to constantly feel like that. I like to think that I'd be like you in that situation, but I haven't really been in that situation, not specifically something like that. Um,
I just knew it when I saw other people's reactions to situations. Like the person I'm with, when I look at them and they're freaking out, I'm like, oh, that's like, because to me, I'm like, you're hysterical. But I'm like, that's probably normal. We almost just died, you know?
that's also possibly a biological thing too, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of biology going on there with, um,
When one of our friends crashed his car and I was in the passenger seat, and I remember after the, like, it happens, the thing happens and I bounced and I just remember it was all playing like a movie in front of my eyes, like we're crashing right now. And then the car came to rest. I'm like, I didn't really consider like I could have died. It's just like, okay, it's done. And I turn and look at the driver and he's like, the car's on its side and he's hanging from the seatbelt, hanging dangling towards me because I'm closest to the ground. And he's like,
right.
like freaking out. I had to be like, dude, shut the fuck. I had to unbuckle his belt and get him out.
You're fine.
Yeah.
No shit.
It was just like, yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's probably not everybody reacts like that, but you see different people that
No,
just
yeah,
crumble in
I think
situations like that. I
yeah,
don't think you would act like that. Certain people do crumble though.
yeah, well, I
The
still
the
think it
people
might
who
be
would
cool.
choose flight instead of fight are the
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
who.
people that have never really felt that amount of adrenaline probably before, and then they get out
It's
and they, like,
probably the
throw
same
up.
people that have shell shock when they go into combat for the first time and they won't get up,
Oh,
you know.
right, yeah, like,
And
yep.
and the other soldiers are like, "You gotta move, like, get the fuck up." And they're like, "Oh, I can't." It's like, I don't really understand that, like, being paralyzed by fear.
'Cause I feel like
It
even in
doesn't.
scenarios like that, like, you're prepared to be to for that fear. You're supposed to be prepared for that fear. Like, this is what your job is. Like,
I don't
I don't
see
know.
it as cowardice. To me, it's not the same as running. Running's different because running is like you're trying to save your life, which makes sense to me. But
Yeah,
being paralyzed, like you can't, you're immobilized.
yeah, yeah.
That's a different thing
That's
because you're just
different
a
for
sitting
sure.
duck at that point.
Yeah,
Like if
because
you're
'cause
scared, you're gonna get low and
you have
try to
no
protect
fight and
yourself.
you have no flight. Like,
Yeah,
what
you're
is
like
that's
it's like a
raw, like,
deer in the
fear.
headlights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
frozen fear.
it's you don't know how to process the emotions you're feeling right now. You don't know what to do with it, and it's overwhelmed you, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a weird thing for me. I can't understand that.
Yeah, thankfully, neither one of us probably been put in a position where we were like, freeze or die. Like,
Well, I
or
could see
freeze and die,
running.
like, you know?
I could see
Yeah,
running.
running is
I
not
don't ima I can't
yeah.
I can't imagine the only thing I can imagine freezing is if I was like in the movies when you see the nuclear mushroom cloud and then the ground starts to like
Oh,
ripple and it's like
so when
coming
you know
towards
there's
you.
nothing you can do, right?
Yeah, you're just like, I'm done. It's
Yeah.
like there's nothing. But if there's an escape route, I'm taking it.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
I think I might be able to not die,
Okay, so wait, if you're in the front lines and you freeze and everyone's like, "Get the fuck up and move forward," is that as bad as if you I don't think it's as bad as if you were to be on the front lines and then it's danger and you're like,
just
"I'm
fucking
turning around
tuck
and
tail
running
and
away."
run. Bye bye.
Yeah. Now
Good
that's
luck.
like, that's not doing your job, like, you signed up for this.
I don't give a fuck about Iran. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't sign up for this
Easy to
shit.
make fun of the light of or make light of the situation, but unfortunately, it's real life situations for a lot of people sometimes.
Yeah, it happens, man. But yeah, no, I think running is definitely worse because it's
In
like
that scenario.
you displayed extreme cowardice. I don't know if this can be like taught out of you because
Yeah,
it's
but
like
if it was like you walk in, okay, it's a four-way intersection, there's 3 massive guys that wanna kill you on each
I'm
one
out.
of those legs. I'm out. That's fight or
I'm
flight.
running.
That's smart. I can't fight that. But
No,
when you're
that's
as
different
a
though.
sold yeah, that's what I mean. That's different, like, than being at
This is
war.
what you're describing is the guy who leaves his husband to fight the home invader or whatever. Or
The
sorry,
guy
leave his
that
husband.
leaves
He
his
would leave his
husband.
husband. Leaves his husband that leaves his wife needs to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
marry a guy
exactly, yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
the husband who
that's
uses his
and
baby as a shield when the bullets are
yeah,
coming.
seriously. No,
Like,
that's
y-
cowardice, and so
yeah,
that's
if
there's
you
a
have
difference
someone
there.
that that's relying on you, well, we've discussed this with friendship. Where after this we can be done, but we've both discussed what our expectations are for friends and how I've said like if you're not a real like if you show me you're not a real friend, I see no benefit in continuing that relationship. Like there's tests in a friendship or any relationship where they have to put they're put to the test. Like, do you mean what you say when you say you're my friend? And if they don't fucking mean what they say, then I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah,
And it's the same thing with what you're looking for in combat or whatever. That's why those guys probably become the best of friends after,
it's
because
true,
it's like
yeah.
you did put your body in the way of danger to protect me, and I did the same thing for you. And like, what more could you possibly ask for? You
Yeah,
know?
100%. Yeah, that's a great point.
And that understanding of the the relationship and the consequences and things like
And
that,
those guys,
that yeah,
they're all they can rely on as far as having a good time too when you're in boot camp and you're in the army and you're out,
yeah,
you're overseas, like, this is your source of fun and it's your source of, like, safety, security, and brotherhood. Like, yeah,
yeah,
that's right, that's how you make friends. Like, you and I have always had a lot of fun, or you've really pissed me off, and that's still okay
yeah.
because we've had a lot of fun doing stuff, but
Yeah,
then if I really needed you, you're there, you know?
and the contract, the unspoken contract, and like the whole point of the military probably is to form those kinds of relationships between people who are going to be in combat together. It's like you have to if you do have that instinct to run away, you have to be able to override that or kick it out of your head as soon as it pops up. Like, don't think, do, right?
Yeah, and you know
You
what?
can think
Maybe
about it afterwards.
maybe that's what happens for a lot of people is, "Holy shit, I need to run away," and you're like, "No, I'm not supposed to do that. That's not what I'm here for." Like, it's okay to
Yeah.
have that thought, but then you fix
That's
it.
why in the movie, when someone's hysterical, it's like,
Yeah.
you need something to like snap you out of that. It's like, stop fucking, don't think about that. Think about the fact that I just slapped you in the face. Think
Yeah.
about the fact that I'm yelling in your face right now. Get the fuck up and move. Speaking is like I've been in combat.
Well, no, but you do know movies.
Yeah, the point of like, you see it, anytime somebody's hysterical, it's like, sometimes when people get hysterical, you have to like shake them out of that state, especially if their life's at risk. It's like, dude, stop thinking, thinking is what gets you in trouble.
Mhm.
But, yeah, to make it come full circle, I think that what you said about the military and people, the friendships, putting yourself on the line for other people, that is something that we don't see enough of. That might be why we started this whole podcast and why we want people to comment and get involved in this, is because we all crave that on like the deepest level. That's what we all need. It's probably what being in a tribe was when we were cave people, was like, you got my back. Like, you might not be the strongest person in the world, but you're going to like fight to protect like me and the rest of this unit. And I'm going to do the same thing. That's what a community is, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
and it's at the very least contributing what you are capable of contributing out of respect for the thing that you're a part of. And we don't have that culturally anymore as people, as a people. And then I think a result of that is you see communityless people becoming homeless. They don't have family, they don't have friends, they don't have support, they got nothing. They feel like nobody cares about them. They've been burned, they've burned other people, you know. Cuz at the root of it, someone who's willing to take a bullet for you and to die, there's nothing like more proof of like God than that. It's like, if
Well,
I
you'll
die, I'm
definitely,
done.
yeah,
It's
and
over for me.
you're once you have your first child, man, you're gonna know that feeling even more than you ever had before in your life.
Well, that's a proof of the most unselfish
Yeah.
act you can do is
Yeah.
like put yourself in the line of danger for someone else, or take, and you don't have to put yourself in the line of danger. You can prove that same thing in other ways, just by giving someone a gift or showing them that like you showed up when no one else would. That's proof. That's like, those are small gestures of the other thing, and that's evidence enough. And I think that's what people lack when they fall destitute and disenfranchised. They lack a belief in that, which is warmth and love and compassion. They stop believing that that's even a thing. They see life as, can I get power over you? Can I take what I need? They don't see that. And so when you do get exposed to that, that can rekindle that in you. It can restore your like faith in that.
I actually think there's a lot of feel good for me. Like, if somebody asks me for help, even if I could not want to do it, but I'm like, if you're asking me, it's because you like legit need help and you're coming to me because you know I'm reliable. Like, that makes me feel good. So
Mhm.
99% of the time, if I can, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help somebody. Well, to an extent. It's not like if somebody was like, "Hey, I need $500." Like, that's like,
It
if you're
depends
asking
on
me
if
for
it's
my time,
transactional.
I'm gonna give you my time, and I'll give you some sort of resource. But when you start asking me for money, it seems a little bit different. But yeah, the
Yeah,
transactional part, yeah,
because it's got to be um a belief that you're someone who can be relied upon, and that you have a relationship with that person where like you said, they think you're that kind of person that would do that to help them. Like, that makes you feel good, and so you feel like that's worth it. But sometimes, like, when you brought that up, it immediately made me think of people who ask me to do things, and they ask me to do it because they think they can get what they want out of me. It's a
yeah.
power dynamic thing. It's like,
So
that's
that's
not
like, yeah.
okay.
Sorry, yeah. That's like being surrounded by the wrong type of people. Those aren't real friends. So, for instance, when I talked about money, which I know you would never need, but if you were like, "Hey, can I have $300 to do this? I got you next week." I know you're good for it, and I'm down to do that. But if it was like an acquaintance of somebody who I'm like, I consider you a friend, but you're not one of like, I don't know you're good for it, and so I'm not doing that.
Yeah. 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 Great point. Yep. Yep. I just see it like, you imagine this is like literally what panhandlers do, is they stand out and they ask every single person to give them something.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from a belief in the human spirit that we just referred to. You know, I don't think it is. It's not coming from a place of like, hey, I respect it and I am relying upon you for a favor or whatever. It's coming from somewhere else. It's coming from like, it's almost just, it's a script or it's a numbers game. If I stand out here with the most pathetic sign I can think of and I have the most amount of people walk past me, the odds are that I'll end up netting, you know, this amount of money. But they tell you those, they'll even straight up lie to your face and tell you fake sob stories to get the money that they need. They don't see it the same way. They have a distorted view of like how you should use human connection, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like if you call in favors from somebody, it should mean something. But to them, calling in a favor is just, it's become just survival. It's
And
not
you
like,
should have a sense of debt, whether they want you like it's not it's not transactional, but if I do something for you or if you do something for me, I in turn do want to do something for you, but you don't expect me to do something. And I think that's what makes kind of friendships even like work even better. It's like because I will never just keep taking from you and taking from you, I'm always also willing
you
to
don't want to
give
be
to
the
you.
take. But
Yeah,
that
yeah.
someone who takes, you know, I don't think you necessarily even need to like think about paying it back, so to speak. I think you just need to appreciate what you asked for and that this person did it for you. As long as you have a like a profound gratitude for that, that to me is enough of repayment. I don't need to get repaid
It's
if
enough for
someone's
you.
like, well, someone tells me like, dude, you have no idea how much that like helped me or whatever. I don't even
Oh
need
yeah.
the money back. It's more of just like you recognize that like you took from me, it hurt me. Maybe it didn't hurt me, but it affected me in some way. And I did it out of like love for you. And so if you can, if you feel that love, then you feel, like you said, you don't feel necessarily a debt, but you feel the weight of it where you're like, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but then you should feel like if you ever need something and I got you. Like that's the kind of debt that I'm
yes,
talking
if
about.
you
Like you got
can.
to make
Yeah. If you
sure that
can.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And not even necessarily to me or whatever, because like I might not need it, but somebody that you can help,
Yeah,
you
true.
should probably.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Good
Good strong note to
moral.
end on.
Yeah.
Wow, we're so
Sweet.
morally smart.
Hey, hit us up in the comments if you got anything to contribute about adrenaline, any stories. Heck, if you want to come on the show, let us know. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we'll vet you first, you weirdo. Just joking.
Maybe not even vet you. Just come on.
Just let you go and spout.
Why not? It's
Yeah,
life
you'll
or
make it
whatever.
exciting. Yeah, that's
It'll be
true.
exciting. I want exciting episodes. I want the the unexpected. I want it to just be
Hey,
alive.
you hate our guts? Come tell us.
Seriously, if you
Get our
disagree
adrenaline
with
going.
us, dude, I would love that. I would love
I
that
would
so
love that
much.
too, yeah.
All right.
All right, man. Till next time.
Peace. Till
Bye.
next time. Bye.